Greetings YouTube, this is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 and I'm doing a bit of an unconventional review today. Some various Star Wars figures. Now I remember in the Family Guy parody of the Star Wars trilogy, they made jokes that there were maybe one or two women in the entire galaxy because there was such a lack of defined female characters on the Star Wars movies. Well, just as kind of a counter to that, I decided to do a review of these three female Star Wars figures. We have Padme Amidala, Jedi Master Aayla Secura, and Bounty Hunter Cato Parasiti. Immediately you might notice that Cato Parasiti is significantly taller than the other two. I'm not sure if that's because she's intentionally a really tall character, or if they just make the characters to a smaller standard nowadays, and Cato is an older figure. Or maybe they used to make them smaller and Cato's a newer figure. I'm not really sure because I'm not a Star Wars toy expert. So the reason I got these three is custom fodder, but you know, they deserve their own shot in the spotlight. I intend to turn Cato into Sari Sumdak from Transformers Animated. Padme is going to become Merlina from Sonic and the Black Knight. And I'm still deciding whether Aayla should be Breezy the Hedgehog from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, or Shara from Sonic and the Secret Rings. Whichever one you prefer, mention it in the comment section below so you can help me decide. Okay, so let's take a look at them one at a time, starting with Padme. Padme Amidala is one of the older figures that I have. I got her at a Rite Aid. Given a nice 360, we see that she wears a veil. She has, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this isn't supposed to be her hair, although these front bits are braided as if they're hair. I'm pretty sure that this is just a decoration, because I don't really remember this outfit from the movie very well. I do remember the lipstick job. I got some photos, some photographic close-ups of her face, because my camera, of course, works better in picture mode than video mode for taking high-resolution images. So we will be doing that so I can show off her individually painted fingernails and her highly detailed makeup job, which is a lot more than you usually see on a figure of this scale. Okay, now that we've seen that, she comes with one sole accessory, a pistol, and her right hand is sculpted slightly differently, as if it has a trigger finger. The only problem is that I have never been able to get her to hold it. At least not convincingly. It just falls out. There's really no friction in there. The hand is made too small. Either the hand is made too small, or the handle is shaped wrong. Something went wrong there because she doesn't really hold the gun securely at all. Okay, so articulation. Padme has universal joints at the shoulders, which is cool. Gives her arms a nice wide range. Although it looks kind of funny with all this flowing fabric, which looks all rumpled over itself when their arms are at her sides. But then, when picked up, that has to be the most heavily starched fabric in the history of the galaxy to stay like that. Either that or she hasn't had this shirt washed in like 6 months. Either way, it doesn't sound very comfortable. Her elbows, they're connected here, and there is a universal joint, but it's kind of pointless because it's so restricted. So they can only really move about that high up. And then she has a wrist swivel, and she has a waist swivel, and her head moves, but it's blocked by these things. And they put a surprising bit of detail under her skirt. Her shoes are painted and laced up, and you know, I always kind of expected her to be wearing pants under there, but well, let's just take some close-up shots of that. Yeah, they never really saw Padme as the pink lacy thong type, but well, there you go. Alright, so that's the Padme figure. Let's move on to some more action-oriented characters. Actually, before I take on a unique view of this, I should mention the thing that they come with that's kind of their action gimmick. It's a card game. Every figure comes with a unique identifier card. Padme did not come with this because she's an older series figure. But almost anything related to the Clone Wars... Okay, let's just get the figures themselves out of the way and concentrate on the cards. Anything related to the Clone Wars will come with these cards. The rules are printed on the back, although with the newer cards, the back just has a big splash page and the instructions come on a separate paper. But basically, the way it works is that you have this stand, and you put your character on top of the stand. The stands have a slot that you can stick the card into. Although I don't really see the point to this, and you'll see why later. In addition to coming with the stand, every character and the card, every character comes with one of these D6s. As you can see, there are 6 things: force ability, battle skills, intelligence, mechanical skill, leadership, and luck. And the way the game works is you take your character, it's as a representative of your side, and pit him against another character from the other side. And then you just roll the die. Like, for example, Isla Secura. Looking at the stats, I rolled the die. And it came up on this symbol, which is mechanical skill. In Isla Secura, her mechanical skill is a 10. And she gets a bonus of 3, so she scores 13. Now I roll a die for Kato, and it comes up on this symbol. That's intelligence. For Kato, it's a 9, and she gets a combat multiplier of +3, giving her a score of 12. So 12 versus 13, that means the Isla figure won that battle. And that's how the game's played. Now the newer characters, they come with an upgrade to the cards called a life force. As you can see on Isla's, her life force symbol is intelligence. So if she loses a combat round, you get one free roll, and if it comes up on this symbol, she's saved and doesn't actually lose the battle, and you can use her in another round. It's a very basic game, and if you consider making this like a collectible card game, considering that these figures cost $11 each, it would be a pretty expensive collection. But, you know, it's nice to have a way to play with your action figures besides, you know, like, you know, put a little bit of order into the chaos that is playing with your toys. Okay, so let's take an individual look at the characters now. Okay, so here is the Kato Parasetti figure. Let's talk about her articulation first. She has a ball-jointed head, a ball-jointed torso movement, universal joints at her shoulders and elbows, very nice. Nice ball-jointed ankles that can go any direction, universal knee, but only swivel hips. I find it kind of weird that she has universal joints everywhere except the one place where it's kind of the most common thing for action figures to have, at the hips. I would have gladly sacrificed the universal joints at that knee if it meant having it up at the hip instead. Also, her mask is flippable, so we can see what her face looks like underneath. And well, you know, they can't all exactly be alien space babes. I'm not really that familiar with the character because I think I missed the episodes of the Clone Wars cartoon she was in, but I'm not sure if she's old or if everyone from her species just looks like that. Her sole accessory is this. A sniper rifle. And she can hold it pretty well. If I can figure it out. Stand by. There we go. And unlike Padme, Kato's hands are very carefully sculpted to allow her to put her hand into the trigger guard of her own rifle. And she can even two-hand wield it like a sniper should. So that's actually really cool. I like the way that she can wield her weapon in such a natural looking pose. It makes for a great display. Okay, so let's move on to the last figure. Okay, so here's Isla. As I recall, Isla's race would be called the Twi'leki, or Twi'leki, or something like that. And what you might remember them most as are for the tentacle-headed slave girls in Jabba's palace. And well, I don't know, like, an entire alien race seems to exist for the purpose of fan service in the Star Wars universe, because even a great warrior like her pretty much dresses the same way. I'm not sure how the minds work over there. Anyway, we have a very nice sculpt. Of course, that's like 99% of the appeal of this character. Including really detailed stomach muscles and a sculpted-in belly button. And that is a really nicely done face. Usually a face this small has like soulless little eyes or derpiness, but she actually looks really good. Let me take a nice high-definition picture to show how her makeup is actually every bit as detailed as Padme's, despite her head being even smaller. Now, Ayla comes with significantly more accessories than the other girls did. We have a lightsaber, of course, because she's a Jedi. We have a breathing apparatus thingy, a flight pack that attaches to it, and a fetching pair of goggles. The goggles are the easiest accessory to give her. They have holes in the side, and those little cone-shaped ears that come out the sides of her head kind of peg in just like that. And now you have her wearing a pair of goggles. Okay, so her more famous accessory is probably going to be the lightsaber. Having her wield it is as simple as clipping it into her hand. Of course, like with Kato, thanks to her articulation, which, oh, by the way, her articulation is almost identical to Kato Parasetti's, except she only has a swivel movement in her torso, not a ball joint. That is the only difference between these two figures. So thanks to the universal joints in her elbows and her swivel wrists and all that, you can actually get her to dual hand wield a lightsaber, which looks really good. I love I love it when a character can wield a sword like this. I remember I lavished Drift with praise for being able to pull this off, and seeing it in a figure this size scale is even more impressive. Alright, her final and most cumbersome accessory is the breathing apparatus and flight pack, which can be worn with the goggles, but I like to take them off because she looks kind of cluttered with everything on. In order to get it on, you had to pull her head off. We're going all like the way you accessorize Figmas and stuff here. See, it's just a collar piece. You slip it on. By the way, this clips off, but it really serves no purpose. I don't know why they even made it so that it could clip off, because it doesn't really do anything. Unless you want her with the rocket pack and no breathing apparatus, I guess. Then you can clip her head back on. And it lines up so that the mask goes over her face without blocking her eyes. So actually, since her eyes aren't blocked, you can put the little goggles back on. And as you can see, she can wear the goggles and the breathing mask at the same time, although it does start to look a little bit busy. And then you clipped her rocket pack on. I'm not sure if it's supposed to go over or under her tentacles, but it seems to hold either way. And you know what? Why don't we just put the lightsaber back in there so that she can be fully decked out with all her accessories? Because I kind of love it when that happens. When you have a figure who can wield every single one of their accessories at the same time. Even if it does look a little bit crowded. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's get another high-res photo of that. And there we go. That is my triple review of 3 female Star Wars characters. I'm not sure, I might do more Star Wars reviews in the future, because I do have more, which I, of course, got as custom fodder, although I'm not sure which ones to make into yet. You'll find out more about that in the future. But until then, this is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1, covering something outside my normal comfort zone. And signing off.